Well, folks, well, okay, let me ask a bunch of things that for people, even though the topic is the video that is gonna come next is gonna be called nuclear weapons. Just listen up and be careful and keep an eye of what everybody else following your actions could lead into so many things, right? So I know August 6th we all need to, sorry, no, in November we all need a vote. We all need a vote. And the reasons why we all need a vote is to stop all the damn nonsense coming, or just to stop and take actions in a whole different way, right? When you take actions in a whole different way is the solution to prevent the worst things to come in this scenario, right? Okay, I have seen so too much of everything. All right, even Sony. All right, Sony, you could block me, whatever you want. And I'm telling you that there's a reason why there will be August 6th to be celebrated as a holiday because Sony is from Japan, and if Sony were to celebrate the Black Lives Matter movement, even if it's a Japanese company, it makes sense to not have school on August 6th because it is like a call to celebrate the day that America drops an atomic bomb on Hiroshima, Japan, because a Japanese company celebrate Black Lives Matter movement, right? So that's the reason why, and that's the reason why. And to prevent this is just to Black Lives Matter is to to have black justice to matter, like to have justice for black people to matter, and that's just a different way. And this is the first step on anything for mattering about the black lives. So all lives would matter until justice for black people matter. It's better off saying that all lives could matter until justice for black folks matter, or for until justice for black people to matter. Why? Because that's just a new way, a new solution, instead of mattering for. There is one thing to following. The following is to doing one thing. Having the BLM, Black Lives Matter movement spreading globally means no school on August 6th in America because people in Japan follow the Black Lives Matter movement, and that day on August 6th is the day that America drops the atomic bomb on Hiroshima because Japanese people are following the Black Lives Matter movement in Japan. So that day would be called Victory Day, and it's going to be taken as a national holiday. That's the reason there will be no school on August 6th in America because the Japanese people following the Black Lives Matter movement. Um, what other things that are gonna happen with this? Um, Another asshole president, whoever it is, if there's another asshole president, they're gonna bring back nuclear weapons test, and black people will become laboratory rats for nuclear weapons test. And when we go to war against a terrorist group and Islamists or whatever it is, when these, for example, if ISIS is settled in a country where the majority of people are black, Black Lives Matter could lead to, when you attack ISIS at a country where the majority are black, it makes sense to drop an atomic bomb just to destroy ISIS at a country where the majority of people are black. Just drop an atomic bomb, right? That's when you give a shit, right? So, um, what other solution would be? So those are like the three things that would happen, right? So the only solution would be, I mean, there's first of all, justice would be followed. Justice matters. Black justice matters for the black lives to matter. That means that all the asshole cops will be called out and will be taken off from the police departments, and police departments have to start taking their shit together, and that's where you end, right? So that's another way. One way to matter is to take the solution all the way to the UN, that black people would soon be used as laboratory rats for nuclear weapons tests. That's gonna happen pretty soon. And in a way, as with you seeing this type of thing, is kind of worse than, I might say, two things to say what is worse. Look, you have look, black people went to slavery. That means Abraham Lincoln got assassinated. He was not black, but he got assassinated. It was for the call for them that says they get fed up. You know, bringing back equality. There was a peaceful pacifist man who was black named Martin Luther King Jr. So they could see people together, and he got killed. That's the reason why John F. Kennedy got killed, right? So now what you're expecting is doing the same stupid shit what people back then during World War II has done for so many years. The creation of nuclear weapons. That's the reason why. Sooner or later, you spreading that into that country where they have suffered the most for nuclear weapons. That means when Japanese people are backing black Americans with the Black Lives Matter movement signs, means there is no school on August 6th in America to celebrate the day that America drops the atomic bomb on Hiroshima, to be called Victory Day, because of Japanese supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. That's the reason why. And also, it could include, yes, it could include when you go into war. When they go into war at a country where the majority of people are black, then the solution is to use nuclear weapons. And that's when they keep on holding these signs. The day is when you give a shit, is when black lives are taken away from nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons taking away black lives. Imagine that shit, right? That's the reason why that when that day comes is when all black people are giving a shit by seeing black people taking their lives away with nuclear weapons. That also to include that we fight ISIS, and ISIS is settled somewhere in a country where the majority of people are black, then it's okay. There's Black Lives Matter people here. Let's send an atomic bomb to attack ISIS in that country where the majority of the population are black. Okay, let's drop atomic bombs. right? So that's the reason why you're going to screw things up. And this is the way you thought that it's okay to have another asshole in power to say it is okay. These are BLM people. And with you guys, you know, going with Black Lives Matter movement signs, and then there's a 100% chance when we go to war into a country where the majority of people are black, that that country is going to be attacked by using an atomic bomb, by dropping nuclear weapons on a country where the majority of people are black. That's what is going to happen, right? So the reason why I'm telling you this is because the reason for Black Lives to Matter is to get rid of all the nuclear weapons all over the world before Black lives are taken away from nuclear weapons. That reason is to take the actions now. And that's the reason why my next video is going to be about nuclear weapons. It's going to be about nuclear weapons because let me tell you what's worse: an asshole cop killing a black person, or black people dying from nuclear weapons. You know, like you protesting about an asshole cop killing a black person, George Floyd, yeah, God save his soul. But then you're calling for to see black people dying from nuclear weapons. That way you're calling from black people dying from nuclear weapons, and when that day comes, that was that would be the day when black people give a shit when they see black people dying from nuclear weapons. That's the reason why. Being used as laboratory rats because another asshole in power would approve nuclear weapons tests again, or attacking a country where the majority of people are black, even to attack ISIS that they decided to use nuclear weapons, right? The time before that, before the time before seeing nuclear weapons, I mean, the time the time to do before seeing black people dying from nuclear weapons is to do it right now. Because I guess even in Nevada, black people in Nevada were laboratory rats for nuclear weapons. I believe it is. Start now. Start, start the ban of nuclear weapons, because before it's too late, just imagine if ISIS is in some country in Africa. That country in Africa, the majority of people are black. Imagine that by now they attack ISIS by using nuclear weapons, and they drop atomic bombs to destroy ISIS, because that country where ISIS is settled, everybody are black. All the people are black where ISIS is settled, and they use nuclear weapons by now. That means before that starts, just think about if ISIS is settled in and they got attacked by nuclear weapons at a country where the majority of the population are black people. That is, to think about it, that means to Black Lives to Matter is to get rid of nuclear weapons. That's the reason for Black Lives to Matter, is to get rid of nuclear weapons before black people get killed by nuclear weapons. That is worse by seeing black people dying from nuclear weapons than an asshole cop killing a black person. So goodbye. Please subscribe to the Embargo Man channel and write me any comments of what you think. If you think if uh, if you think if ISIS were and is settled in a country where everybody's black, and ISIS get attacked by atomic bombs, and you see black people dying from nuclear weapons, and you're up for the challenge to go and protest against nuclear weapons now before it's too late. All right? Just think if this happens right now and do it before that starts. Goodbye, everybody.